Good morning. Welcome to York Manor. This is our day. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Room covered in plastic. Gonna knock down lats and clear nasty insulation out. I'm gonna grab a green tea, start my day, and then we're gonna get this party rolling. I'm out of green tea. I'm out of almost all my drinks. You see that? This is the spot for my green tea. I'm out. I'll be back. He doesn't want me to go. Drinks are good. Check out this fridge. It is stocked. Boom! Boom, boom, boom. That'll last us at least a good 2 weeks to a month. Today might be a little ambitious, right? We're gonna try to pull out some of these because, again, ductless in this house. Other thing, I'm gonna head up there and I'm gonna knock out plaster in the other room, and we're gonna try to drop lat and pull insulation out. But first, my dump truck's at someone else's house, so I gotta get the dump truck. Let's see. Haha, I got it in first try. There's a line to get into the dump today. Hi, welcome back to Aaron's Fireside Chat. So, asked for some help figuring these things out, these tiles. The thing about a swag is it is a scientific wild ass guess, and that was definitely what this was a wild ass guess. So these were made by Atco, their subway tile. Atco is a company out of Ohio that originated sometime in the early 1900s and then went out of business in 1935, which means that the odds are, unless somebody went out and got some vintage tile for some reason to do this, this portion of the house was either built or rebuilt or modified prior to 1935. Now, what's the problem with that? My initial quick Google search research told me that nominal 2x4s, that's the 2x4s that are not actually 2x4, but like 1.5, 1 3/4 by 3.5, 3 3/4, whatever. Not actual 2x4s, was 1964. That was wrong. 59 pages. 59 pages. I found a paper that is 59 pages long on the history of lumber after roughly 1900. I did not read it all, admittedly. I skimmed it and looked at some things. Early 1920s, and earlier than that, they were having some issues with lumber, and they were doing things by moving it by weight, and that was causing problems because the lumber wasn't super standard and everything. They realized that didn't work, so they changed to a standardized size sometime in the early 20s, maybe mid-20s, 24, right? But, so if we assume that early 20s, which would make a little bit of sense, was when they changed that, and this was in 35. So this edition was after 1920 and before 1935, which also makes sense given that this plaster, it definitely looks newer, and the lat definitely looks newer. It's definitely different lumber, different nails, different plaster. There's a lot fewer layers of wallpaper. This edition, sometime between 1920 and 1935. Just want to say sorry, 1964 was not when nominal 2x4s came around. It was early 20s. If you want to find that paper, I will try and put a link to it in the description below. If you are that interested in the history of lumber. 59 pages. 59. It's an impressive paper. And the paper ends in like 64. All right, so that insulation is super nasty. So we modified the back of the dump truck a little bit so it'll hold the insulation better. Bada bing, bada boom. Here, let me climb up in here. All right. So, it's just plastic. We stapled it up to the sides. And then this is our tube. So there it is. And that will pour down insulation. I took and we sealed the edges with some duct tape, right? Super simple. And then the little back window that's worthless anyways, sealed duct tape. Because during the initial test phase, like a few weeks ago or a week ago, or I don't know, every day is the same now. We're having issues with the stuff pouring out the sides, pouring out there. So hopefully that'll stop it. Anyways, now it's time to get dirty. All right, it's time to get dirty. Clayton's gonna yank it down. He's got the awesome gas mask, so we're gonna tuck that into there. Got some gloves and our trusty pry bar. So down, it's coming the lats. We're finally gonna get dirty. I ran my sweet hose in through here, so let's see how much that pulls up all by itself just sitting there, and then we're gonna suck it all up. All right, so the good news, it worked. The bad news, it made a really big mess, and we got to go back in there and clean it up. But we're gonna let the dust settle for the next probably 30 minutes or so before we go back in and try and do anything else. All right, looking from the outside, the plastic sheeting did its job. There's a lot of this insulation. Let's go take a little look, see inside. I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic. Okay, here. Cleanup begins. All right. So, said I was a little ambitious, probably was, but there's a reason we didn't get everything done. Either way, I'm about to call it a night, but I'm gonna point out that even with all of this that's left, we made one small little error, and that is this section above me, right up there, that has that batt insulation or whatever it is. It also opens up to the attic. Dropping that at the same time as dropping the blow-in insulation was not a good idea, because that down there. Yeah, made it a pain. We couldn't suck it up with the vacuum, so you have to pick it up, shake it out, etc., etc. Super pain in the ass. Not a terrible big deal. Take care of it tomorrow. Also, we'll drop the plaster tomorrow. However, there is some pretty fantastic news when we come down here, because we did get some other stuff done. Check out my dining room. Bam! Look at that. That is ducting, because the ducting is going away. Let's take a look at the basement, because wow, look at that. So if you remember my video with the chimney in place and all that, there was ducting everywhere. Let me show you some things real quick. Look at this. I don't know if this is to code or okay, but yeah, that's the ventilation pipe for this, and kind of was like sitting like that. So maybe some more small carbon monoxide issues. This wire right up there, I don't know if we can get it in the light. Of course we can't. But this wire right here, yeah, it was slowly fraying through and gonna burn my house down at any moment. So really glad we're kind of going through this and finding these issues. But we can now see this chimney. If anybody knows what this is, we have a question, because we were trying to figure it out. There is this wire right here. It's in some sort of shielding, and look, it goes into the basement foundation and then up and into the chimney. Current thoughts are possibly a ground wire. Don't know. But also, look at the airiness of this place already. Just getting rid of that. I can now walk right here without ducking. That's so sweet. That's a first, and that's amazing. Super happy. Huge shout out to Sin for coming over and helping knock that out. really did it out of the park. Finally, I gotta throw a huge shout out to Jen and Mike. Thank you two so much. You guys are ridiculous. They did not like my not to scale drawings, so they pulled some old pictures from a real estate thing, used that to get the dimensions of the average cabinets, figure the dimension of the kitchen, and then make their own, after trolling through all of my videos, to scale drawing. And we just did some measurements with it. We just spent like 2 hours on the phone chatting layouts and ideas, and their measurements were pretty freaking close. Super impressive. Mike, 2 inches, really? You said the kitchen was 13 feet wide. It's 12 foot 10, 2 inches. Come on. I expected better. I'm just kidding. You guys are amazing and fantastic. I love you both. And that is probably one of the most crazy things anybody's ever done. And also amazing. I love it. I love it. You two are fantastic. That conversation kind of put a pause on the day, so didn't quite get done everything I was talking about. But I tell you what, we got a lot done. We got that dropped. We're perfecting the little sucker thing. One cool thing, right, about it and what was gonna happen, right? If we look up in this ceiling, right? So this is the parlor ceiling, but let's pretend that this is that bedroom ceiling. So we would have cleared essentially this area. So what I'm hoping is that I can go into this area up there, because that's gonna be hard, because that is that up there. And I tell you what, I don't want to drop a bunch of insulation. That stuff is gross right here. So I'm hoping I can snake my giant 4-inch pipe straight down between those joists, rafters, whatever they're called, and just suck up all that insulation, get as much of it out as I can. That thing actually works really well right now. Tomorrow's video, I will show you we had a small little issue with the truck. Overall, everything worked well. I really appreciate everyone watching. You guys are all fantastic. And well, this is always a learning experience. It's a little bit of a slower process than I expected. If you guys are really enjoying this, more than anything, send me your ideas and put your comments in. Subscribe if you want, hit the notification while you want. But really what I love is the comments. I love the messages. I love the ideas and the thoughts that I get from every one of you and all of it. If I don't get back to you immediately, know that's because I'm here and I'm doing this. But yeah, you guys are phenomenal. Really loving it. And I just can't say thank you enough to everyone that's really shown support and that's helping me out. You guys are all amazing. And you know what? I appreciate it so much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Next time we pull this from the attic. I'll see you tomorrow.